Hey there, everybody. What's happening? Jack Tompkins with Pineapple Consulting Firm. Data dashboards, very important. Financial dashboards, even more important. Financial dashboards in Power BI, that's what we're going to dive into, okay? So let's pop it open, dive through, talk about some pros, cons, and some how-tos. Okay, so here we are in Power BI. This is a published version, so it looks a little bit bigger than you would see on the back end. But of course, if you're not familiar with Power BI, it is Microsoft's business intelligence tool, very similar to the likes of Tableau or Google's version, which is called Google Looker Studio, and about a dozen other ones out there. Power BI is one of the best. Some argue that it is the best. So, very clean dashboard, some tricks of the trade that we're going to cover, some overall layout tips we're going to cover as well, and then some pros and cons comparing within the Microsoft world, at least, against something like Excel. So let's dive in quickly to the back end like this. So if I move my face a little bit, as you can see, same dashboard here, and then everything that you would assume is a separate entity is truly a separate entity, as you can see as I'm hovering over all of these things here. So in order to build something like this, your data will come in over here, and these are different tables with each of the different columns located in here as well. To create a visual, you can just click on a visual and Power BI will find a spot for it. You can always adjust it, of course. And then it's just a drag and drop of columns into the x-axis, y-axis, legend, etc., etc., etc. So we're going to remove that. And all of this is click and drag. There are some formulas that you will need to create to do something like this in most dashboards. And those are found up the top here in the modeling section. I have this kind of scrunched, but it's either a new measure or a new column. So that's where you create your sort of formulas. And then the thing that I'm hiding here is filters. So any filters on the page, you can set filters for specific visuals, of course, as well. So this is the overall backend filters. What kind of graph are we talking about? And all the design happens in this visualization section. And then fields, this is where your tables and your actual metrics and columns are located. So back to the bigger version. And I'm going to move my face a little bit here. Okay. So that's sort of the overview how to. Obviously not a detailed one, but at least paints the overall picture. Some dashboard tips and tricks in terms of layout. I'm a big fan of starting with a few KPIs. So in this situation, I always talk with businesses, what is the one big thing that we're focusing on? And this is a financial dashboard, and you could say the one big thing is probably revenue. Now, it doesn't mean the dashboard is exclusively revenue, of course. A very common secondary metric, if you will, or secondary focus is net profit. So we've got them up here as KPIs. And so we've got for the selected month, we've got our revenue total, and it's in green because we beat our goal by 20 or so percent. And net profit is also in green because we crushed our goal of only 19,000. So big fan of starting with that. It kind of sets the tone for the whole dashboard. And it also clues the viewer in to what are we looking at? What's important on this dashboard, right? So you'll notice the use of blue. So the same dark blue color, the pineapple blue color, is used in revenue. It is the revenue bar in this bar graph. It is the by product and by customer breakout too. So all that cues you in to, okay, this is revenue related, and even the stuff down here. So usage of color is very important in any dashboard really, and very easy to do in Power BI. Second, you'll notice that in our trend graph, this lighter color is net profit. And so we've got a trend graph, which I'm a huge fan of. If you've got your KPIs, which are these guys up here, let's trend them over time so we have some context around them. And so that way we can see, great, we beat our goal for the month, but what does that look like in the scope of the year or 12 months? Or if this was weekly in 4 weeks or whatever it is. any sort of context is very important with trend graphs. Another one down here, since we're going to net profit from revenue, well, what else is happening, right? Where are we spending money? And so this is a line of cost of goods sold and expense as a percent of revenue, and just trending that over time as well. Again, giving really good context. Now, since we're focused on revenue mostly, we've got this revenue by product and revenue by customer. Very important breakdowns, pretty generic things, right? Obviously, this is a sample company with sample data. So wanted to create something that's applicable to most people. Breaking revenue down by product, super helpful. And then that leads to the business questions of, do we want product B and C to be our stars? What's going on with product A? Are we okay with it being just $1,000? And then revenue by customer. Again, are we good? Do we like that customer 35 is our leading contender? Looks like we've got a pretty good breakdown of revenue, but in some cases that might not be so diverse across the customer base. So important business questions come from that. Do we like it? What's working? What is not working? And then finally, another breakdown section here. So this is just a big thing that this potential company is focusing on, marketing spend. So for the selected month, what does that look like? We've got some marketing spend metrics, and then what leads to a customer or revenue per customer. And then a 12-month average, just again, giving context. So quick overview for the layout tips. Start with your KPIs, make them big and very hard to miss. They should be the things that your eyes immediately gravitate to. Next, give those big KPIs some context by trending them over time, and then break them down into a couple views that are going to support whatever the business goal of the dashboard is. Lastly, comparing and contrasting against something like Excel. So it's similar in some ways. When you create calculations on the back end, it is actually fairly similar to Excel. It can handle a lot more data than Excel, though. It's much easier to automate data into Power BI than Excel, although you can still automate data into Excel. One common thing that I find with a lot of clients is they want to treat it like Excel, which is totally natural, totally normal. So they want to say, what's my net profit margin? So they want to say, 50,000 divided by 176,000. What is that percent? Well, we can't do that within the dashboard. Any sort of business intelligence software, you can't just go into one visual and have it interact directly with another visual. That all happens on the back end. So that's where we'd create a column or a calculation that says, equals sum of net profit divided by sum of revenue, or however the data is structured. Second, Excel is very, very customizable, which is great. You can do absolutely anything that you want, right? This is a little less customizable, but looks a lot sleeker. So that's kind of the trade-off there. So they're somewhat similar. Power BI is a lot more powerful. Excel is much better for things like manual entries or projections or things that you're going to be changing a lot. Power BI is better for big data sets, automation, and things that you might not be adjusting on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, and just you need the visual of it. Power BI excels in the visualization piece, whereas Excel you can do some. Power BI is a little bit better. So I hope this is helpful. A lot of people need financial dashboards. Very important if you're going to dashboard anything in your business. Financials are likely towards the top of the list. So keep Power BI in mind. Keep your financials top of mind and easy to view, easy to analyze with something like a dashboard. We are always happy to help and always happy to make your business more data-driven. So feel free to reach out with any questions at all. Again, I've been Jack Tompkins with Pineapple Consulting Firm and looking forward to talking soon, everybody. Thanks for watching.